Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And earlier, T-Mobile had their earnings call, and I watched the earnings call, and the info that I was looking forward to, because we already knew the preliminary numbers, we knew they would not change much, and they really didn't. They added 824,000 postpaid customers, just like what they talked about earlier in the month of January. So I was looking forward to really the outlook of 21, see if anything may have changed depending on the business structure, maybe some different strategy because home internet is taking off, or there's just something. I thought it might have changed, but it looks like the outlook remains according to strategy. So 2021 capex is going to be in the range of 11.7 to 12 billion, which I don't know why they gave that range. They should have just said 12 billion. I think it will end up at the $12 billion mark, and it is going according to plan. If you guys remember, the way this investment was structured was they would invest 60 billion over 5 years, and that's 12 billion a year. Could there have been a change, a drastic enough change for them to push that maybe to 13, 14, 15 billion? I honestly don't know. So I think T-Mobile needs to really think about how they approach this. They can no longer talk like they're the underdog. They are not. They're now the big dog. They're not number one or the best, but they're now up there with the big dogs. So I'm going to read off to you guys the postpaid only numbers, which is what T-Mobile is using to put themselves in second place over AT&T. I'm going to read these off to you. Verizon number one at 90.3 million. T-Mobile in second at 81.4 million. And AT&T in third at 77.2 million. Again, T-Mobile is closing on Verizon. So they can no longer talk about like they're the underdog, and they sound like sore losers by Mike saying that Verizon is paying off root metrics. Again, there's not, I said it on my Twitter yesterday. Some of you may agree, some of you may disagree. There is not one person in the United States that can replicate the kind of testing that Root Metrics does. I don't care if it's Open Signal, they're regional. I don't care if it's PC Magazine, they only do a couple of states. I don't care if it's Ookla. Ookla's testing is not controlled. It's, somebody could run 35 tests at 500 megabits from the same site. Root Metrics is the only scientific testing that we have in the US that has controlled measurements. I've seen videos in the past. They walk around with a big old suitcase. They have phones in the suitcase. They drive with those, with whatever software they run in the background. They walk. They do walk testing. And that scientific testing still favors Verizon to this day. That has not shifted. But just a fact on history, in the past, there was a time where T-Mobile was catching AT&T on that testing, if you guys remember. And then that's when AT&T completely went haywire with FirstNet, and they kind of separated again. So the notion that T-Mobile has been pushing under John and now apparently under Mike Sievert, that Verizon is paying off root metrics, I don't think that's the case. There have been markets where Verizon has lost, but the network is fine-tuned and optimized very specifically from Verizon. Everyone does that different. And the testing favors Verizon. It just does. They're running the phones on a different software. I don't think they can prioritize Verizon in that testing. And to say otherwise is just a conspiracy. Nobody has proof of anything. So that's just, again, that's a theory. Mike Sievert's throwing it around. Other people that say that are throwing it around too. Verizon has been the one consistently investing in their network, $18+ billion a year. T-Mobile is not doing that even as a merged company. They're doing 12 billion. They're going to do 12 billion over the next 5 years. I don't see that changing. It seems like they structured that around their business plan, and they're executing. They said on the earnings they now migrated 25% of Sprint customers. So in Q3, it was 15, so they did about 10%. I think that's a negative from this call. I think that needs to ramp up. Sprint had about 25 million postpaid customers total. So that needs to ramp up. And what is the retention on that Sprint customer? They don't really speak on that. We don't know, is the Sprint customer really staying? Are they churning? Or are they satisfied and happy with the TNX SIM if they do get it? So those are some of the questions that they're not answering. The earnings calls are getting shorter and shorter every time, if you have noticed that, if you watch them. So there's not much to really go off. The stocks are currently down for T-Mobile after hour trading because they didn't hit all the estimates. They beat service revenue by 2.34%, so that's up. But it looks like some of the estimates just weren't hit, or not as good as what was anticipated from some of the analysts. So T-Mobile is down roughly about 3% now after hours. So they took a bit of a hit. They said they would have another analyst/media day, investor day next month. So of course I'm going to be tuned in for that. The fact that they said it will be after the auction 107 closes, I think they want to announce some things on that day. So I do highly think now, and I'm confident that they did invest in C-band. How much they got, I'm sure we'll find out around that day. But this is just very interesting. They didn't speak about home internet. They didn't speak about the T-Vision much. If they do ever bring that up in the quarterly earnings, I think it will start in Q1. I thought personally that those customers may be added in separately, on at least on the reportings. Looks like that may not be the case from what I'm being told. It looks like those customers will just be a regular customer add. So be looking forward to T-Mobile numbers being even bigger in the future, 1.8, 2.5 million, because people are getting the home internet, and those customers are being added on as a mobile data line. So T-Mobile has voice lines and then mobile data lines, which is where they usually add the smartwatches, tablets, and now apparently the home internet as well. So do I think this was a huge negative quarter? No. Do I have mixed feelings about the quarter? Yes, I do have mixed feelings about the quarter. I still think T-Mobile is talking like they are the underdog, like they want somebody to feel sorry for them. That is just not the case anymore. They're now roughly within 9 million of Verizon to be in the number one postpaid carrier in size. So, they have to go full steam ahead. I wouldn't be surprised if the scale that T-Mobile speaks of doesn't happen for another few years. They have to tend to the congestion where it currently resides. So there's a lot of congestion now because they're migrating Sprint customers on a tower grid that has only been built for customers of T-Mobile's as a standalone. Keep that in mind. N41 is helping, but at 12 billion, can they really fix network congestion as fast as possible, or as, say, 14, 15, 16 billion could? The 12 billion fits within their plan, but they need massive scale now. They need it very, very massive. They need new sites to offset some of that growth that they're getting. Not only that, they migrated about 165,000 prepaid customers. So they're gaining growth from that too. So that lets you know the market is maturing. Sprint is no longer here. They're not. They've been absorbed. The fact that they're still counting the churn separately is how they're able to claim that they had the best churn, but overall the churn was about 1.03%. But if you look on T-Mobile's investor relation page, they still have the own fact sheet for Sprint in terms of numbers and all that. So they're still looking at them separately. I don't know why. Sprint is done. They just need to go ahead and consolidate that, but I guess that will happen in the future. But again, overall, my opinion, mixed feelings. I think the quarter was great to what T-Mobile wanted to accomplish, but Neville did say a few things on the call that to get to that 200 million pops, more sites are going to have to be touched. So service revenue is likely going to go up, or operating cost is likely going to go up this year for T-Mobile. Backhaul is going to have to be improved. That's another increase in spending. So this is very interesting. So part 2. So this is my video. There will be a part 2 from Tech Extremist. He's going to do a follow-up for you guys as well, letting you know his thoughts. He wasn't very happy with some of the remarks from Mike Sievert, so he'll let you guys know that in his video. So make sure to stay tuned to his video. Should be coming shortly, and I will link it when it does come out in the description down below. But to make sure to follow his channel, I'll leave his channel in the description down below right now, so you guys can hear his thoughts and reactions to the quarter. So again, thanks for tuning in. If you are new to the channel, or you have been on the channel and you have not yet liked, shared, subscribed, make sure you do so. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when I do upload content. Make sure to follow all of the social media outlets for more interactions, especially Twitter and Instagram. And this is Tyrone with Tech Life. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.